You go to the gym and train to waste time. Yes, just as you hear it. If you go to train and make the mistakes I'm going to show you in this video, you'd be better off staying home and not even bothering to pay for a membership. No matter how much effort you put in or how many hours you spend lifting weights, if you keep repeating these mistakes, you're never going to see the results you want. I'm sorry to say it this way, but this channel tells the truth no matter how hard it may seem to you. If you train hard but your progress is slow or practically null, it is very likely that you are sabotaging your own gains without realizing it. Small actions that seem harmless may be blocking your muscle development and turning every rep, every set and every workout into a waste of energy. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the 10 most common mistakes that are ruining your ability to effectively gain muscle. But not only am I going to tell you what they are, I'll also explain how to correct them with proven solutions, based on science and the experience of the world's top trainers. So stick around to the end, because each mistake we'll mention may be the key piece you're missing to unlock your full potential. By the time you finish watching this video, you'll have the knowledge you need to optimize your workouts and start building the physique you really want, I assure you. But first I have to remind you that to build muscle and achieve your goals in the gym, you have incredible offers on all HSN sports supplementation in the links of the description. Take advantage of the opportunity. Now yes, pay close attention to these mistakes that you make and ruin your training. Mistake number 1. Dehydration. Your body is almost 60% water, but even so, many enter the gym without having had a single glass before training. They think it's not that important or that a sip between sets is enough. Serious mistake. If you're not properly hydrated, your performance plummets and, with it, your chances of gaining muscle. When you train, you lose fluids through sweating and breathing, and if you don't replenish that loss, your body enters a state where energy production, muscle recovery, and even protein synthesis are affected. In other words, you become weaker, fatigue faster, and your muscles stop growing at the rate they should. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that with just 2% dehydration, muscle strength can be reduced by as much as 10%. Imagine that, instead of lifting 100 kilograms on the bench press, suddenly you can only bench press 90. And the worst part is that you don't even realize that dehydration is to blame. The solution is simple, but few apply it. Drink enough water throughout the day, not just during training. A minimum of 2.5 to 3 liters a day is a good starting point. Although if you train intensely or sweat a lot, you'll need more. Don't wait until you're thirsty, because by the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Always stay one step ahead and make sure every cell in your body has what it needs to perform at its best in every session. Mistake number 2. Not warming up properly. You get to the gym, put on your gloves, load the bar and start doing heavy reps without even preparing your body. Fatal mistake. If you train without warming up, you're playing with fire, and sooner or later you're going to get burned. Warming up is not optional, it is an essential part of training. Without it, your muscles, joints, and nervous system are not ready to handle the workload. As a result, your performance decreases, you become more prone to injury, and you lose the opportunity to get the most out of every repetition. Think of your muscles as a rubber band. If you try to stretch it sharply when it's cold, there's more risk of it snapping. But if you warm it up first, it becomes more flexible and resilient. The same goes for your body. A study published in Sports Medicine showed that a good warm-up can improve strength production by 5% to 10%. Can you imagine being able to lift more weight, do more reps, and reduce the risk of injury just by taking a few minutes to prepare your body? The solution is simple, but requires discipline. Before you start training, spend at least 10 minutes on a well-structured warm-up. First, raise your body temperature with some light cardio, such as jumping rope or rowing. Next, perform joint mobility exercises to lubricate your joints and prepare your ranges of motion. And finally, do approach sets with light weights to activate the muscles you'll be working. If you skip this phase, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Not only are you risking injuries that can keep you out of the gym for weeks or months, but you're also limiting your own growth potential. Don't be the type to just show up, load up the bar and start. Warm up right and train smart. Mistake number 3. Performing reps wrong, too fast. You go to the gym, load weights, do your reps at full speed, raise and lower the bar as if you were in a competition to see who can finish first. And in the end, what do you accomplish? Nothing. Because doing reps fast and uncontrolled not only reduces the effectiveness of the exercise, but also puts your joints at risk and increases the risk of injury. Muscle growth isn't about how many times you lift the weight, it's about how you lift it. Mechanical tension is one of the main stimuli for hypertrophy, and if you rush through each repetition, you're eliminating most of the time under tension that your muscles need to grow. A study published in the Journal of Physiology found that subjects who performed controlled reps with an eccentric phase, when you lower the weight, of at least 3 seconds, achieved greater muscle activation and better development compared to those who performed fast, uncontrolled reps. The reason? When you slow down the movement, you force the muscles to work longer, increasing muscle damage and anabolic response. The solution is simple. Control each repetition. Focus on technique and tempo of execution. An effective rule of thumb is to follow the 2-1-3 method. 2 seconds in the concentric phase, when you lift the weight, a brief pause at the point of maximum contraction, and 3 seconds in the eccentric phase. This method not only improves the effectiveness of each repetition, but also reduces the risk of injury and maximizes muscle activation. If you've been doing reps at full speed up until now, it's time for a change. Reduce the load if necessary, but execute each repetition in a controlled manner. It's not about moving fast, it's about working the muscle as efficiently as possible. Mistake number 4. Not controlling your rest time. You finish a set, look at your phone, check social media, chat a bit, and when you realize it, 5 minutes have passed before you start the next set. Or, on the other hand, you do your last repetition, take a few seconds to breathe, and lift the weight again without giving your body the time it needs to recover. In both cases, you are sabotaging your progress without realizing it. Rest time between sets is a key factor in gaining muscle mass, but many ignore it. Resting too much can cause you to lose the tension built up in your muscles and reduce the intensity of your workout. Resting too little can cause your performance to plummet, as you don't give your nervous system or your muscles a chance to recover enough to tackle the next set hard. According to a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, optimal rest times for muscle hypertrophy are between 30 and 90 seconds for isolation exercises and between 90 seconds and 2 minutes for compound exercises. This allows you to maintain high metabolic and mechanical demand without compromising the quality of the workout. The solution is simple. Monitor your rest time precisely. Use a stopwatch or the timer on your phone to make sure each break is appropriate for the type of exercise you're doing. If your goal is hypertrophy, resting between 45 and 90 seconds on most exercises will be ideal. If your focus is strength, you can extend it to 2 to 3 minutes, but never leave the time to chance. If you've been training without timing your breaks up to this point, chances are you're not maximizing your potential. Don't waste your time in the gym. Use every second strategically and you'll see your muscle gains accelerate. Mistake number 5. Using excessive weight without control. You get to the gym, see someone lifting an absurd amount of weight and think, if he can do it, so can I. You load more than you can really handle, sacrifice technique, and start moving the weight around like a wrestling match instead of a bodybuilding exercise. You load more than you can really handle, sacrifice technique, and start moving the weight like it's a wrestling match instead of a bodybuilding workout. You think lifting more means gaining more muscle, but the reality is that all you're accomplishing is increasing your risk of injury and wasting your workout. Muscle growth is not based on how much weight you lift, but how you lift it. If the load is so high that you have to cheat on every repetition, swinging your body, losing stability, or using muscles that shouldn't even be involved, then you're not stimulating the muscle correctly. In fact, a study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology showed that lifting with poor technique reduces muscle activation and puts more stress on the joints than on the muscles themselves. On the other hand, excessive use of weight also affects range of motion. If you can only move the bar a few inches because the weight is too high, you're failing to stimulate the muscle fibers fully. And without full stimulation, gains will be limited. The solution is not to lift less weight, but to lift with control and good technique. Find a balance between intensity and execution. Use a weight that allows you to do 6 to 12 reps with good form, without unnecessary balancing or forced movements. Make sure you complete the proper range of motion and feel the muscle contracting with each repetition. If up until now you've been lifting more than you can handle just to impress, or because you think more weight equals more muscle, it's time for a change. Technique should always be the priority. A well-controlled weight with perfect execution is worth far more than lifting poorly just for show. Mistake number 6. Ignoring the body's signals. Pain in the shoulder joint, discomfort in the knee, or that feeling of extreme fatigue after several sessions in a row are not simple details that you should ignore. They are clear signs that your body is asking for attention, but many overlook them, thinking that pain is just part of the process. And that's where the problem begins. The body has an incredible ability to adapt, but it also has limits. If you ignore early warnings and continue to train without paying attention to discomfort, what was simple discomfort can turn into a serious injury that will keep you out of the gym for weeks or even months. It's not about being soft or avoiding exertion. It's about differentiating normal training soreness from pain that indicates a real problem. A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that approximately 40% of gym injuries occur because people train despite feeling previous discomfort. Instead of making adjustments or resting when necessary, strain the body until it reaches a point where the only option is to stop altogether. The solution is simple but crucial. Learn to listen to your body. If you feel a sharp, stabbing, or persistent pain in a joint or muscle, don't ignore it. Adjust your exercise, lower your weight, or change your movement to avoid aggravating the injury. And if the discomfort doesn't go away, consult a professional before it's too late. The goal of training is to make steady progress, not to destroy your body in the attempt. Don't be the type to keep lifting weights at all costs regardless of the signals your body is sending you. Training smart means knowing when to push harder and when to take a step back to avoid long-term problems. Mistake number 7. Always repeating the same exercises. Week after week, you walk into the gym and follow the same routine. Same machines, same weights, same reps. At first you notice progress, but over time you realize that you no longer progress. The reason? Your body has adapted and needs new stimuli to keep growing. Muscle grows in response to a challenge. If you always do the same exercises at the same intensity, your body stops seeing the need to improve. Several published studies confirm that varying exercises strategically improves muscle activation and prevents plateaus. It's not about changing your routine every day at random, but introducing variations that continue to challenge your muscles. The solution is not to eliminate basic exercises altogether, but to modify them intelligently. Change the angles, cadence, number of reps, or type of resistance. For example, if you always do barbell bench presses, try dumbbells or change the incline of the bench. If your squats are always back bar squats, try the Bulgarian squat or front squat. Another key point is to periodize your training. Instead of doing the same routine for months at a time, break it up into phases. You can alternate between strength, hypertrophy, and endurance cycles to keep progressing without plateauing. If you have been training for some time and you notice that your progress has stopped, review your routine. Monotony is the enemy of muscle growth. Introduce strategic changes, challenge your body, and maintain progression in each session. Mistake number 8. Not letting your muscles recover well with rest. You think the more you train, the more muscle you will gain. You go to the gym 6 or 7 days a week, training to the max without giving your body a break. But instead of seeing more gains, you feel tired, your strength decreases, and, worse, your progress stalls. What's going on? Simple. You're overtraining and not allowing your muscles to recover properly. Muscle growth doesn't happen while you're lifting weights, it happens during rest. Every time you train, it causes micro tears in the muscle fibers. If you don't give them enough time to repair and strengthen, it not only reduces your ability to progress, but also increases the risk of injury and chronic fatigue. A study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology states that muscles need 48 to 72 hours to fully recover after an intense workout. If you work them again before they have regenerated, the result will not be more growth, but progressive wasting that affects your performance and your health. The solution is to optimize your rest. It's not about training less, it's about training smart. Give each muscle group adequate time to recover before stimulating it again. An effective strategy is to divide your training into specific muscle groups, allowing each to rest sufficiently before being worked again. Also, don't underestimate the importance of sleep and nutrition. Getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night is critical for recovery and the production of anabolic hormones such as testosterone and growth hormone. And, of course, be sure to consume enough protein and calories to give your body the nutrients it needs to repair muscle tissues. If you've been training without adequate rest so far, it's time to make an adjustment. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that more is always better. Learn to rest and you'll see your strength, endurance, and muscle growth improve dramatically. Mistake number 9. Unbalanced training without structure. You go to the gym without a clear plan. One day you train chest and biceps because that's what you like the most. Another day you do only machines because you feel tired, and when you train legs, well, better not even talk about that. The problem is that your training has no structure or balance, and that is seriously limiting your muscle gains. Unplanned training leads to muscle imbalances, lack of progression, and, in the worst case, injury. If you always work the same muscle groups and neglect others, you will end up with disproportionate development. For example, training your chest and arms a lot, but forgetting your back and legs, can affect your posture and create imbalances that will limit your performance in the long run. The science backs it up. One study shows that a well-structured routine that properly distributes the workload among all muscle groups improves strength, hypertrophy, and reduces the risk of injury. You can't just train what you feel like every day. You need a solid, progressive plan. The solution is clear. Follow a well-structured routine. Define how many days you will train per week and distribute the exercises in a balanced way. A good option is to divide your training into full body if you train 3 times a week, torso/leg if you train 4 times a week, push/pull/legs if you train 5 or 6 days a week. Each session should include multi-joint and complementary exercises with isolation movements. Also, be sure to progress in reps, weight, or intensity with each training cycle to avoid plateauing. If you've been training without a clear strategy so far, it's time for a change. Design a well-structured plan, train all muscle groups in a balanced way, and you'll see how your body responds with better results. Mistake number 10. Arriving at the gym without knowing what to train. You arrive at the gym, look around, and decide on the fly what exercise to do. Maybe you start with bench presses because you saw someone else doing them. Then you move on to dumbbells, but in no clear order. In the end, you end up jumping from machine to machine with no defined structure. If this sounds familiar, you're wasting time and limiting your progress. Training without a plan is like going into a supermarket without a shopping list. You end up buying random things and forgetting the essentials. The same goes for your training routine. Without clear programming, it's difficult to ensure that you're working muscles in a balanced way, progressing loads, or ensuring adequate recovery between sessions. Lack of planning also affects intensity. If you don't know what you're going to do before you get to the gym, your training is likely to be less efficient, with long rest periods and improvisations reducing the effectiveness of the muscle stimulus. A study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that structured workouts, with a focus on progressive overload, produce up to 30% greater muscle gains compared to random workouts. The solution is simple but key. 10. A plan before you step foot in the gym. Define ahead of time which muscles you'll train, what exercises you'll do, how many sets and reps you'll complete, and even the rest time between sets. You can keep your routine written down in a notebook or on a training app to make sure you follow the plan without distractions. If you've been training without a clear strategy, it's time to make a change. A well-defined plan maximizes your time, keeps you focused, and guarantees results. Don't let lack of organization ruin your muscle gains. Come to the gym with purpose and train with intention. Now you know. If you feel like you're training hard, but not seeing the results you expect, chances are you're making some of these mistakes without realizing it. From not hydrating properly to training without proper planning, each of these can be sabotaging your progress and limiting your muscle gains. But the good news is that you now have the knowledge to correct them. It's not about training more, it's about training better. Adjust your hydration, warm up properly, improve your technique, control your rest time, use the right weight, listen to your body, vary your training, respect recovery, follow a well-structured routine, and come to the gym with a plan. These changes can make the difference between stagnation and a stronger, more defined physique. And now tell me in the comments, which of these mistakes have you made without realizing it? Which one are you going to correct first? Also, if you found this video helpful, support it with a like and subscribe to the channel to keep receiving valuable content on training and nutrition. Turn on the notification bell so YouTube will alert you every time I upload a new video with science-based information designed to maximize your results. See you in the next video. Keep training smart and building the best physique of your life.